What's up, my people? So we're talking boxing. And yesterday we had two fights. We had Callum Smith versus John Ryder, and we also had. I'm sorry. We also had Leo Santa Cruz versus. I forgot the other guy's name. And we had Deontay Wilder versus Luis Ortiz. We also had Wilder's brother versus another guy who was also a south, or could switch to southpaw stance. Okay. Now I didn't watch. Ironically, I did not watch the Wilder versus Ortiz fight. I knew Wilder was going to knock out Ortiz, but I did watch the knockout. Okay, I did watch the knockout, so I'm going to talk to you guys about that. So, for those people who do not realize, I didn't watch the fight, so I didn't watch all the stuff. I just watched the knockout. Okay, so for those of you guys who didn't realize, you guys are talking about Wilder's power and blah, blah, blah. You have to understand Wilder's a smart boxer. All right? I want you guys to think about his intelligence, not just his power. Okay? Wilder was circling clockwise around Ortiz. All right? And what he did was he set up Ortiz to get knocked out. Ortiz, he bait him in, and he was pivoting around Ortiz. He was circling Ortiz, and he walked Ortiz into the right. Ortiz, in trying to get into position as he's pivoting, he walked into Wilder's right hand. That's why he never got up from the right hand. Okay? From what I understand, Ortiz was taking Wilder's power pretty well in the fight. But Wilder caught him with a nice, quick, short right hand. As he was pivoting into Wilder. Wilder got position on him, set the right hand, boom. That's how he knocked him out. So it wasn't so much the power as it was the placement, the timing, how he positioned himself to get that knockout. How do you beat Deontay Wilder? Very simple. Take away his right hand. That's it. That's all. That's what he does well, right? He knocks out people with the right hand. Sometimes with the left hook. Take it away. It's that simple. Right? So smart fighters, defensive fighters, they know what to do. The problem with Wilder is you could be dominating him so much that you get lax in your defense. You get overconfident, and he could set you up. Tyson Fury, he got lapsed. He got overconfident in the 12th round. Boom, got caught. All right? Luis Ortiz, from what I hear, slacked off. Didn't see the positioning that Wilder was putting on him. That's how Wilder actually knocked him out the last fight. Dropped him a couple times because, again, he caught him with a counter right. Counter-punching the counter-puncher. Setting up the counter-puncher to get knocked out. Wilder's a smart boxer. He's not, don't ever underrate Wilder as a boxer. He's not he's not a stupid boxer. He's smart. Okay? And I would not be surprised he tried that right hand a couple times, and the technique he was using, which is to move on the back foot, circling his opponent to counter his opponent. Because what Wilder learned in the first fight is Luis Ortiz is a great counterpuncher. Okay? So Wilder was looking out for Ortiz's left, I'm assuming, in this fight. And he's, doing the right things and stuff. And if you look at Wilder and Ortiz, he's circling the right way you do to a southpaw. He's circling clockwise, away from the southpaw's power hand. But once he gets lead foot position on the southpaw, boom, he cracked the right hand, right? So that's basically what Wilder was doing, using his jab and stuff like that. And he did what he did in the first fight, and that's how he got Luis out of there faster than he did in the first fight, even though he dropped him multiple times in the first fight. So I personally, once again, think that that's basically what he did. But if you want to beat Deontay Wilder, it's really simple. It's not this is not no rocket science, okay? There's no rocket science to this. If you're a smart boxer, take away his right hand. So how do you take away his right hand? Look at Canelo versus Sergey Kovalev. Look at how Canelo's defense was. A lot of people talk about Kovalev and his punching power, which is very deceptive. Kovalev will casually throw a shot at you punch me, and break your face with that same shot, right? Right? And I was listening to Bradman Lewis, Stephen Edwards, Bradman Edwards, the trainer for J-Rock, and he was talking about how Canelo broke down Sergey Kovalev. He used a particular guard, he used a particular defense to deal with Sergey Kovalev. And if you go and guys watch Precise Striking, he breaks down what Canelo was actually doing, how subtle his movements were, and what he actually did to beat Sergey Kovalev. Take away his right hand. So his right hand wasn't really a factor in the fight. And that's what Luis Ortiz needed to do with a guy like Deontay Wilder. I'm not saying Deontay Wilder doesn't have incredible power. Especially he has a beautiful snap. He has beautiful technique. He throws his punches very well. He reminds me of all the crunk gym fighters, from Mark Breland to Tommy Hearns. He's following in that tradition. They know how to throw that right hand off of the jab. But there's a way to take that away from them. Okay? And so a very good boxer, that right hand wouldn't even be a factor in a fight with that boxer. All right? If you know how to take away the right hand. How do you take away the right hand? If he even thinks of throwing the right hand, you punish him. You punish him, you discipline him. When he throws the right hand and he misses, you can't just allow him to miss with the right hand. You have to punish him for throwing the right hand. Okay? If a guy's a great jabber, you know, I was listening to Deportes, ESPN Deportes, where they were trying to say that, you know, the guys were trying to say to Canelo, because I was trying to get a translation for it, and they were talking about how Canelo was arguing that he's pound for pound number one, and they were saying that Terrence Crawford and Lomachenko are better fighters than you. And Canelo went on to talk about and break down what he did to Sergey Kovalev. And they were saying, well, Sergey Kovalev said that he was going in a fight that he couldn't win. And Canelo was like, that's an excuse he was making. And the weight stuff is an excuse as well. And he broke down, he said, when a fight is coming with a great jab, because they talk about Sergey Kovalev had a great jab, and, you know, he was jabbing Canelo. And then Canelo said, well, what happened with Triple G? What happened when I faced Triple G? You guys say that the jab is the problem for me. What happened when I faced Triple G? He had a great jab. What happened when I faced Danny Jacobs? He had a great jab. Canelo actually made the same argument I was making. A lot of people feel because this guy is throwing a jab at you that he's winning the fight. When you look at the punches actually landing are by the counterpuncher. Because guess what they do? They counterpunch, ladies and gentlemen. They counterpunch. So obviously they're going to counterpunch the jab. Now, Luis Ortiz is a counterpuncher, but he's a southpaw counterpuncher. Okay? So at the end of the day, his thing would have been to counterpunch Deontay Wilder if he even think about throwing the right hand. Okay? He was also supposed to counterpunch. I didn't watch the fight, so I don't know what happened. So I'll have to go and watch it. And just because Luis Ortiz is the more active fighter, and even if he's landing on Wilder, doesn't mean that Wilder doesn't have a game plan. Handle him. Okay? I didn't watch the fight, but from what I'm seeing, how the knockout happened, it reminds me of what happened in the first fight. And Wilder was able to be effective at doing that. He was probably trying it once or twice. He had to be trying that placement. And he finally found the right spot to hit him. And he hit him perfectly. You look at it, it was well-timed. It was a well-timed punch. Perfect punch. A short punch. It wasn't a long, extended punch. It was a short, chopping punch at perfect range. Ortiz literally walked into the shot. Beautiful stuff. Ortiz don't know what the fuck hit him. That's why his eyes was open up, and he was like, oh, he don't know what the hell he walked right into the shot. It was beautiful. And it again, a credit to Deontay Wilder's IQ and his smarts. He figured out that he had to get Ortiz at a certain angle. He had to catch him at a certain angle. All right? Because it's a southpaw he's dealing with. And so Deontay Wilder had to find that. And he probably was down in the fight because he was trying to adapt to the different changes that Ortiz was doing. People said Ortiz won almost every single round. I don't know. I have to go watch the fight. I didn't watch it because I thought that this was not a rematch worth having, in my personal opinion. I guess a lot of people felt differently. I don't know. But if I watch the fight, maybe I'll change my mind. But as to what Wilder did, he did that in the first fight. That's how he got Ortiz out of there. He counterpunched him. He counterpunched the counterpuncher. And let me tell you, that's not easy to do. Okay? And Wilder even said, you are underestimating me and underestimating my boxing IQ. Let me just tell you, I don't care how hard you hit. To outsmart a guy, to make him walk into a shot like that, takes IQ. Takes IQ. That was not just power. That's not just luck. Okay. Also, I believe Wilder was trying this shot before, and I assumed that Ortiz could take the power at the time because Ortiz was seeing the shot. But the way how Wilder duped Ortiz into walking into that shot was beautiful. All right. I'm not saying that Wilder don't have incredible punching power. He knocked out a lot of guys. But I've seen guys take his power as well. I saw Chris Arreola take his power. And then he didn't go down. There was no one-shot knockdown. Okay. I've seen Tyson Fury take his power. Yes, he knocked down Tyson Fury. Got back up. Okay. Let me explain to you Wilder's punching power for those of you who may think, okay, this is what I think it is. It's snapping power. It's fast. It's sharp. It's well-placed. It's well-timed. He puts good leverage into his shots. You can see he's long and lanky like Thomas Hearns. He's long and lanky like Mark Breland. He puts leverage into his shot, but at the same time, it's fast. It's sharp. He gives you fast, sharp punching power. So that the speed, along with the technique, along with his bone structure and how solid he is, you can see he's a big, strong guy, right? The guy's only 219 pounds, but he can pick up a guy and slam it, right? He's big and he's strong. And he's strong. Let me just say that. He's a strong motherfucker. That combination is what causes him to knock out these guys. All right? And, but you have to understand, you can't just knock out the guys just like that. He's not just going to knock. If Ortiz had seen that shot coming, he walked right into it. It was a trap that Wilder set. That's brilliant. He trap set him. And he outsmarted the smarter boxer. What you guys call the smarter boxer. He outsmarted him. Okay? With Tyson Fury was lulled into a sleep, and Wilder stepped in. He skipped in, hit him the right hand, left hook. It was beautiful. That 12th round right hand, left hook. He didn't catch him as good as he should. If he had caught him as good as he should, he would put him to sleep. Right? Dominic Brazil, he caught him with the same shot that he did with Tyson Fury. He skipped in, off the break, and caught him. Boom, boom. Caught him with a 1-2. Okay? Dominic Brazil went down. Boom. Right? He wasn't out because he got back up. Right? He didn't concuss him to the extent that he was gone. Tyson Fury was gone a bit. Brazil was gone too, on the way down. But of course, he recovered on the way. But my point is, it's concussive power. No doubt about that. Okay? And he can concuss you with one shot. That reminds me of Thomas Hearns. It reminds us of Mark Breland. That's the schooling he got. All right? Now, what y'all don't realize is he got boxing IQ. I kept on saying it over and over again. Deontay Wilder is a good boxer. All right? He may not be a maestro. He may not be a like a Floyd Mayweather or like a Lomachenko or like a Terrence Crawford. He's not them because he's been in boxing. Come on, people. He ain't been in boxing that long. Okay, he didn't start from a baby like Lomachenko or like Terrence Crawford. All right, or like Floyd, or like Pernell Whitaker, or like Oscar De La Hoya, etc. Okay, these guys have extensive amateur backgrounds and stuff. He's now learning on the job, and he's doing a hell of a job. Okay, so while I didn't care about this fight, I thought it was going to end up in a knockout on Deontay. I was going to knock out Ortiz. I wanted to say that it was some intelligence that went into that. Okay, it's not just he knocked him out by one punch. Because if Ortiz had seen that shot, it would have been a different result. If he had seen the punch coming at him, he would have been able to brace for impact like he was doing and use his defense or whatever, right? He didn't see it. That's what knocked him out. And it reminds me of Thomas Hearns. Not even Thomas Hearns versus Roberto Duran, because Hearns had knocked down Duran a couple times, and and that was a different fight. So you can't even talk about that. This was a one punch, put him down, right? All right, you guys had a lot of comments before I get into some other stuff because I got a couple things to say. Let me see what you guys say. First of all, Intangible Boxing says Ryder got robbed. Wow. So Callum Smith versus John Ryder. Ryder actually won. That's what you're saying. I didn't see the fight yet, so I can't say nothing. I was just going to report on it. I heard that the unanimous decision win by Callum Smith was not convincing. Everybody wasn't convinced. They thought there was some controversy behind it. I did not watch that fight either. because I thought Callum Smith should beat John Ryder. It should be easy work for him. I guess not. I heard Eddie Hearn commenting on it, and he said something he said that if I'm not mistaken, he said that Callum Smith, that performance, he would have lost to Canelo. Man, it's like everybody that we were trying to refer to Canelo, these guys are not performing, man. Billy Joe Saunders getting caught with lead rights. That would be like Canelo field day if he would put on a performance like that against Canelo. And then Callum Smith now, he's struggling with John Ryder. Who's John Ryder? I don't know who John Ryder is. You guys can inform me on who he is. I don't know anything about him. Okay? Doesn't mean that he's not a good fighter. It's just I don't know anything about him. You know what I'm saying? Smash that like button, people. Do I have to tell you that? Nah, you don't need to know that. By the way, on this channel, you can also subscribe to my channel as well as donate via Western Union or MoneyGram. Let's keep it going. So, all I was going to do was just talk about the results, really. But it's sad because here we are, one opponent for Canelo, and we got two poor performances from Billy Joe Saunders, and then we got a poor performance from Callum Smith. Kind of eliminates them from the equation, don't you think? Maybe we'll get I'm hearing from Michael Buffer that what's his name? Boo Boo Demetrius Andre, he might move up to 168, so that sounds good. Maybe that's I don't know what's going to happen. Honestly, I don't know what's going to happen. Let me see what you guys are saying in the chat further. Tangible Boxing says Deontay Wilder is one of the greatest punchers of all time. Okay. Tangible Boxing says I had Ortiz up 6-0. Okay. Raul Ramirez says I can't say I'm not impressed. Wilder got the KO. Okay. Tangible Boxing says, of course, your video turns into talking about Canelo. I was supposed to talk about Canelo. Intangible Boxing says, stop this stream and do another stream without talking about Canelo or Floyd Mayweather Jr. Nope. Sorry, buddy. Raul Ramirez laughs. Raul Ramirez says, Deontay Wilder is the greatest heavyweight who has ever lived. All right. Intangible Boxing. Chris Ariola, he's on track to be that. He's on track to be that. I'm not going to say no. He's on track to be there. So we'll see. We'll see how it pans out. Chris Ariola has a chin of iron. No defense whatsoever. Just eats big shots. Actually, he got decent defense against what was the guy? Kawanaki. He did pretty good. He had pretty decent defense. A lot of punches thrown though. Raul Ramirez 17 says Deontay Wilder, believe it or not, is the heavyweight version of Thomas Hearns with less skill. Yeah. Or Mark Breland. Mark Breland from the Crunk Gym trained him. Mark Breland, was he was a bit of a contemporary at a certain time with Thomas Hearns. Mark Breland was the undisputed welterweight champion of the world. All right. And a guy called Marlon Starling, beat him. How did he beat him? Like how Canelo beat him. How Canelo beat Kovalev. High guard. But not just the high guard. See, that's another thing. I was trying to talk a little bit about Canelo a little bit because of that. So Mark Breland, for example, used the high guard against, Marlon Starling, for example, used the high guard against Mark Breland. But the way how he used it, he had big arms, right? He was protecting his body and head like Winky Wright. But then he would pick off the shots. You pick it off with the guard. See, it's not just, you can't just have a rigid guard. Otherwise, you can't adjust the guard, right? Canelo also got the same kind of thing, and a lot of subtleties in Canelo's game. That's why I like to talk a lot about him, because there's a lot you can learn off of Canelo. And as for ESPN host who's saying that, Lomachenko got more skill than Canelo, I disagree with that shit all day. Okay, Lomachenko got great foot movement, but he don't change levels. Okay, he don't know how to get to the inside like Canelo does. He get caught when he go into the inside. He not really a counter puncher. He an aggressive pressure fighter. Okay, he do his own thing. He do a certain work rate, and he works certain, as we say, algorithms. All right. And Lomachenko is limited by range. Canelo is not really limited by range like Lomachenko is. I just don't think if Canelo ever faced a Lomachenko, I got Canelo beating Lomachenko all day. He got a wealth of experience and pot shots and all that shit. So how much as people say Lomachenko moves, Canelo's gonna cut him off, or he's gonna pivot with him. Lomachenko like a more orthodox version of Manny Pacquiao. And Canelo wanted to face Manny Pacquiao at a certain point in time. And welterweight, I think it was. Yeah, so I think Canelo beats. The only thing is, you see, when you call Terrence Crawford now, that's a different set of skill sets, you know. Um, and I'll bring up Floyd Mayweather again. Terrence Crawford talking about facing Floyd Mayweather. I like that. I actually like that Terrence Crawford is calling out Floyd Mayweather. Whether Floyd Mayweather faces Terrence Crawford or not, is he came back into boxing, so it's fair game, right? He said he coming back in 2020. All right, they talking about the Khabib fight probably being the next possible fight that he faces, and they probably Pacquiao, right? That's what they saying. They saying Mayweather he gonna face Khabib or Pacquiao. Hey, if you're gonna come back in boxing, then why can't Terrence Crawford call your ass out? Okay, Errol Spence is out of the game. We don't know how long, so Terrence Crawford's there. You know why won't you give Terrence Crawford a shot? Okay, pass the torch. You know what I'm saying? You might suffer a loss, but pass the torch. You know what I'm saying? So I ain't mad at Terrence Crawford for doing that, especially where Floyd seems to be with another promoter right now. I don't know if he'll continue with what's his name, the UFC dude, and go into boxing with him. I don't know what he's gonna do, but what I do know is that, you know, Terrence Crawford calling out Floyd Mayweather, or not really calling him out, but, you know, putting up a promo for that is beautiful. I applaud him on that. I give him his props for that. Terrence Crawford keep on calling out everybody. That's what you got to do. You know, I always wanted to see Terrence Crawford versus Danny Garcia. It looks like maybe Pacquiao might face Danny Garcia, or Pacquiao might face Mikey Garcia. Personally, I don't want him to face Mikey Garcia, because Mikey Garcia, at this present point in time, just like Stephen Bradman Edwards said, he just came off a loss. Why would I want to see a dude that came off a loss face another dude? But then again, you know, maybe I don't know. I have no excuse for that. I just don't want to see that. I would prefer him face Danny Garcia. But then I see you, Dennis Ugas, talking about facing Danny Garcia. So I'm not too sure what's going on there. But what I would say is that I would prefer Pacquiao to face Danny Garcia. I would like to see Floyd versus Terrence Crawford. I would love to see that. I know Floyd's he's old as hell, but I don't care. You come back in the game. It's fair game for these young guys to call you out. You know, that's you're supposed to face the best, and you're supposed to be the best, right? So yeah, they're supposed to be able to get a go at you. You know, and if you say you like the past greats and everything, you say you want to finish off your career with a bang, well, then fight one of these young guns. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. I don't know. I don't know if you want to do that, but I don't know. You know, if he coming back in 2020, it means he got some degree of skill or something, you know. But it's up to Floyd and what he want to do with his career. Anyway, back to what I was saying. So the other fight on the night was Deontay Wilder's brother, Marcus Wilder, I think it is, or Mark Wilder, whatever his name is. But he got stopped, okay? He was boxing beautifully like Luis Ortiz. He seemed to be dominating the fight, and the other guy seemed as though he wasn't doing shit. He wasn't throwing nothing. So maybe that's a prequel to what Wilder did to Ortiz. But anyway, he got caught with a left hand that was a sweeping left hand that went past his guard, caught him flush, put him down, one punch knockout, didn't recover. But guess what? He didn't see the punch coming. Right? The same thing that happened with Wilder and Ortiz is the same thing that happened to Wilder's brother and the other dude. Right? So, I mean, that's boxing. Right? But everybody going to talk about Wilder's power when they're not watching at his timing, his placement, his body positioning, how he walked Ortiz into that shot. Boy, y'all going to get crazy and everybody going to talk about Wilder got crazy power and blah, blah, blah. We're not saying he don't. What we're saying, though, is it wasn't so much power that made this guy fall down. It was so much that he didn't see the punch coming, didn't expect it coming. He was overconfident. He thought he had the fight in his hands, and boom. Yeah, that's boxing. That's boxing. Yeah. So that's what's up with that. See what you guys saying. Tangible says Floyd name drop number one. Roller Polar Bear says, does Wilder hit harder than Schaefer's or Malignaggi? I don't know. I never been hit by him, so I can't tell you. You guys get obsessed with power too much. Raul Ramirez says Wilder knocked out a possibly 50-year-old Ortiz. He didn't look like 50 years old in that fight, did he? So what does it mean? Don't mean shit. Don't put the guy down. He did due diligence. He came in there prepared. Ortiz came in there in the best shape of his career, people said. He was boxing like that, according to you guys. He was outboxing Wilder 6-0, so let's not go there. Raul Ramirez says Ryder's a B-level fighter at best. Okay, I never seen him fight, so I can't really tell you. I just don't know the dude at all. Tangible Boxer said Canelo watched Abraham versus Taylor use a high guard, come forward. Nope, Canelo always used the high guard. He just used it in a different kind of way every fight. Because he got so much skill, which you guys don't give him credit for. He's skilled. Highly. Even the way how he slips punches is so fucking nuanced. He don't move his head that much. Mr. Hulk 333 says, ha ha ha, well, everyone who put these guys on top, like Billy Joe and Callum Smith, has to eat their words. When Canelo fights them and beats them, these guys, I don't want to hear no excuses. First of all, I don't think Canelo should face any of them. Either of them. They shouldn't be. You got to be. Look. Oscar De La Hoya. Pernell Whitaker. Okay? These guys used to face guys coming off of their best wins. They didn't face guys coming off of, shitty fights. There was only one guy I know came off a shitty fight and Floyd still faced him. That was Zab Judah. He lost to Carlos Baldomir and Floyd faced him. Oh, because they had a contract before that they had to fight. Lomachenko changes levels extremely well. Have you ever watched him fight? Fuck out of here. Didn't do that against Luke Campbell. Get the fuck out of here. Shit. He don't change levels well at all. He can't get on the inside. He's having difficulty getting on the inside of Luke Campbell. Serious. The problem with Loma is he sits in the pocket too long. No. Neither. He couldn't get on the inside of Luke Campbell. Kept getting hit with the uppercut. The left uppercut as trying to get on the inside. Luke Campbell had foot position on him. He don't know what the fuck to do once he can't go weak side. He don't know what to do. And he don't change head positions. And he don't slip punches going to the inside. And he don't know how to bob and weave. And he don't know how to dip. Get the fuck out of here with that shit. He don't change levels. He don't even move his damn head when he coming on the inside. Come on, man. Oh, 333 said, where was all the talk and hate about Wilder facing 400-year-old mummy? Was this a fixed fight, or is the hate that bad for Canelo? Good point. I get what you're saying now. But Ortiz wasn't weight drained. That's what they gonna say. They would say, hey, and Ortiz wasn't coming off a tough fight. Man, listen, man. Here's the thing. All right? You got to be smart to make knockouts. That's my point. I'm never going to flack Wilder, as I didn't flack Canelo for facing Kovalev. I'm not going to give no Wilder no flack. And he's rising now. He's a rising star. And if he keep on winning, he could possibly be the face of boxing. And that would be great. Like, I have nothing against Wilder. I have nothing against none of these fighters. That's what people don't realize. I'm not a Wilder fan like that. But I'm also, I'm not, I mean, he could box a bit. He'd be trying different things. Lomachenko has that aesthetically pleasing style along with flashiness and awkwardness. On the other hand, Canelo has very tight defense, tremendous counterpunching skills, and deceptive hand speed. Yeah, but he also got great upper body movement, precise footwork, pivots very well, can box off the back foot or the front foot. Plus, unlike Lomachenko, if you get Canelo to the ropes, he don't have to swivel off the ropes. He can stay right on the ropes and fight off the ropes. And that's a skill none of them motherfuckers could do. Now, Lomachenko, I can't say for Terrence Crawford, but I haven't seen him in that position. But I'm pretty sure none of them other guys they're not that comfortable against the ropes like Canelo. We got a couple guys that could do that, and they're very few. Okay, the composure of Canelo is on another fucking level too. He got real good composure. He know how to close the distance. He can fight on the inside, mid-range. He do a little outboxing. Lomachenko's an in-and-out fighter like Manny Pacquiao. Okay? And like I said before, he don't move his damn head when he coming on the inside. He got good footwork. Upper body movement, much to be desired. Okay? Hulk 333 says Floyd will not fight Bud. No way. That don't mean that Bud shouldn't make a case. Maybe he doesn't fight Bud, but Bud should make a case. If you come back into the pot, right? You don't expect to be burned by 5. I'm just saying. Do you agree with 68 that Wilder can't box? No, I don't agree with 68. I don't agree with DT3 the Boon Man either. They say Wilder can't box. That's bullshit. Can box. I do think Lomachenko is more slippery on his feet, though. Well, he got good footwork. Move around the ring. He's a little bit excessive with his footwork, but he got good footwork. He got good energy. You know, he got good conditioning. But he has to get his preferred range to be effective. Tangible Boxer says, maybe if Floyd pretends that Terrence Crawford is a chick, he could beat him. It's funny, actually. I like that. I don't know, man. I applaud Terrence for looking for the best, though. Go after the best. Roy Ramirez says, Lomachenko, the great white hope. Yeah, tripping. That's funny, though. It's funny. Canelo has never dominated a high-level fighter. Great fighter, but he isn't the greatest skill set ever. Dominated a high-level fighter. Isn't dominated a high-level fighter. So you don't find he dominated Danny Jacobs? He didn't school him? He didn't school Danny Jacobs. Danny Jacobs was a hell of a fighter. I thought he schooled Danny Jacobs. He isn't the greatest skill set ever. I don't know what that means. That's weird. That's weird. A weird combination of words for me. At least I can't process what you mean by greatest skill set ever. What does that mean? What does greatest skill set ever mean? You have to define that because I don't understand it. What do you mean? First of all, Canelo has honed skills. Sean Porter has a lot of skills. He has a great array of skills, but not all of them are honed. Right? So if you're talking about a guy who has a lot of skill, like a great array of skill, Sean Porter has that. Whereas Canelo, he's developing and he is adding to his repertoire skills every time. He's learning, he's growing. And not only that, he's using skills that are honed. Like if he slips a punch, he's not going to waste energy. He's not going to slip like how somebody might slip all the way back this way. He ain't doing that shit. He just minor movement with his head. Minor movement with his head. Right? He perfected it. That means he's been practicing those skills. He's been honing. You can see he trained for certain things in camp. He trains all the time. He's developing and honing his skills. That's why he's right now training as we speak. Right? So Canelo, Floyd is able to kind of open up the treasure chest in Canelo and all the skills that he had before. He's honing those, and then plus, in addition to that, he's developing some of the skill sets that were just kind of sitting down there dormant around, and now he's building on that. So that's why I don't know why you guys are saying that, you know, Canelo, he doesn't have the greatest skills ever. I don't know what the hell that means. Okay, what does the greatest skills ever mean anyway? But as to hone skills, you know, he's got a lot of, he's got a number of array of skills that he can use in that ring, which gives him a lot of options. But on top of that, the skills that he has are honed, and he continues to hone them. And he's only fucking 29 years of age, whereas Lomachenko's an old motherfucker, about to get out of the game in about 2 to 3 to 4 years time. So, you know, Lomachenko can only grow so much, and he isn't. We realize he is what he is. He's not learning nothing new per se, right? Terrence Crawford, on the other hand, is developed and refined And we still yet to see his true potential because he needs to have fights to bring out the best in him. He hasn't had those fights, which is why the fights have been looking one-sided like that. He ain't no fucking Floyd Mayweather. See, everybody always talking about Floyd Mayweather. Floyd Mayweather dominated motherfuckers for almost his entire fucking career. But that's just because Floyd Mayweather is a different level to everybody else, period. Okay? But when you're talking about Terrence Crawford, he got to face now the competition, which is, you know, he got some competition at welterweight. And then we'll see if he dominates those motherfuckers. That is to say, he, you know, unanimous decision win. That's what we mean. You know, no doubt in our minds. Or if it's competitive. We have yet to see that with Terrence Crawford. We saw a little glimpse of that with Gamboa. We saw some competition there where Gamboa was outboxing his ass for a couple rounds. But you know, Gamboa always been like the Cuban boxers. They're good for 3-4 rounds, and that's about it. Errol Lara, same thing with Canelo. 3-4 rounds, great. Then after that, Canelo figured him out, and that was that. So it's the same kind of thing. Now, Canelo, you can't put Terrence Crawford in the same boat with Canelo. Canelo been facing dudes that are the best in their fucking divisions. Like he was facing the best. So you can't say, but Canelo, he wasn't as dominant as Terrence Crawford. Obviously, because the competition is different. All right? If you got B-level, C-level opponents, you're going to dominate them, right? Because they're not a challenge for you. But if you got fucking A-level, you only facing A-level opponents, obviously it's going to be more competitive. We all talked about this in the welterweight division. Errol Spence versus Sean Porter was competitive because you're dealing with two elite athletes. Two elite guys. Keith Thurman versus Sean Porter was competitive because two fucking elite guys. Ain't nobody just dominate everybody when you reach the elite level unless you special like a fucking Floyd Mayweather or fucking Pernell Whitaker. If you're not them, it's not going to happen like that. Okay? So I don't understand what you're talking about. Like, you know, you can't, he's not the greatest skilled fighter ever, obviously. He's still growing. We don't know what his career will end up being. At the end of his career, we will be able to judge him from there and say whether he was great as this or great as that or whatever y'all want to call it. But as of now, he younger than fucking Terrence Crawford. He's younger than fucking Lomachenko. He younger than fucking Demetrius Andrade. You got to put this in fucking perspective, people. This is a young guy that already got more experience than most of the motherfuckers in the boxing right now. And that's the thing that you guys are not getting. You're not processing. Y'all minds are so, like, I don't understand y'all minds, really. But at the end of the day, if you think I'm hung up on Canelo or I'm hung up on Floyd, well, they the fucking best right now. They're the best. They're the best. It's just what it is. And I'm literally talking, they the best. What else can I say? They the best. And I study these guys. I study Lomachenko. I know how to beat his ass. Okay? Canelo, well, I thought I knew how to beat his ass, but now it's like, it's kind of difficult for me to figure it out because he knows how to deal with guys now that are moving away from him in boxing. And he himself knows how to move a bit and box. So it's kind of tricky now to deal with Canelo, you know, because he's been developing himself. The Canelo that faced Erislandy Lara is not the same Canelo that faced Kovalev. All right, so fuck. You got to be impressed with the dude. You know, as much as you guys, I don't know about you. Again, you guys, I don't know. I'm just talking from perspective. I'm impressed with the dude, okay? And that's why I use him as a blueprint sometimes to explain certain things to certain people. So with Luis Ortiz versus Deontay Wilder, you got to take away his right hand. That's how you beat Deontay Wilder. You got to take it away from him. You got to make him miss with the right hand, right? You got to punish him every time you throw his right hand to the body, below the hand, the muscles that drive the right hand. You got to wear him down to the body as well. You got to hit him with more body shots. All right? You got to close the distance on him because guess what? That right hand needs distance to leverage. So if you up on him like a Jarrell Miller or like a Andy Ruiz, if you can get past his fucking right hand and get on the inside of him, now you can do some work. Now, Deontay Wilder can box on the inside. See, that's what I told you. He can box. He can fight on the inside. He can infight a bit. But the thing about it is, my point is, that's what you got to do. You got to take away his right hand, which means closing the distance. Tyson Fury closed the distance on Wilder after he got dropped. He closed the distance on Wilder in the 9th round as well. You get up on him. All right? Wilder has to learn how to do short chopping shots on the inside, you know, because he's good at a certain range teeing off with the right hand. When he gets his preferred range, which is long distance, he can tee off with the right hand. Same thing like Thomas Hearns. Same thing like Mark Breland. That's why Marlon Stalin was able to close the distance on Mark Breland, get to the inside, break him down to the body, and stop him. That's why Sugar Ray Leonard was able to walk to the inside of Thomas Hearns late in the fight, using the high guard, and stop his ass. That's what you got to do. Okay? Guess what? Deontay Wilder is the same kind of fighter. Now, he's tougher than Thomas Hearns. He's strong. Okay? He's fucking strong. Okay? He's stronger than Mark Breland. Okay? This motherfucker is solid. I seen him take shots. But if you want to beat this dude, you got to close the distance on him. You can't be fighting at range. Same thing with Sergey Kovalev. You got to close the distance on Sergey Kovalev. That's what Canelo was doing. Same thing we saw in the fight with Winky Wright used to do that shit. Okay? Winky Wright used to do that shit. Close the distance on you. You know, if you find that a fighter is especially if the fighter is outboxing you or he's better a boxer than you, you got to close the distance on him. Wilder, he fight from range. He can fight on the inside though. Unlike Sergey Kovalev, he got inside game. Okay? Don't get it twisted. He can fight on the inside. But you would have taken away the high extent of danger on the inside, because once you body to body, he's physically strong though. Once you body to body on him, right, when he's going to throw a shot, your body will move with that shot. So you can take some steam off the shot, right? Of course, there is a trick that Wilder could use to keep you from getting right up on him. And that is to use the forearm like what Canelo was doing to keep you off. You know, you take your palm and you push it into your opponent's bicep as they're trying to do the clinch. So you push your palm into the bicep and then you use the forearm to turn them and push them off. Okay? And then after that, you can hit him with an overhand right. Short chopping overhand right. That's what Canelo was doing to Sergey Kovalev. Okay? And I just use that as an example to say, with Deontay Wilder, if you want to keep range, instead of pushing off the guy like, you know, Adrian Broner would do, what he could do again is he catches the guy as he's coming into clinch off the bicep area. Then you use the forearm to push him off. And then you can throw your shots in combinations. Right? But that is how you defuse a Deontay Wilder. Okay? You have to take away his right hand. You have to nullify his jab. Okay? You do that, the fight's in the bag for you. You can win. You even have no power or nothing. You can outbox him after that. So that's what you got to do with these guys. And that's what Marvin Hagler did to Thomas Hearns, but he collected a couple right hands first. And Thomas Hearns could have won that fight. He was so much fucking faster than Hagler. You know, he fought a stupid fight. You know, he started a stupid fight, and they got to fight it. They got 3 rounds of excellence though, but he fought a stupid fight. Leonard showed you how to beat a Marvin Hagler easy. You know, but Hearns had everything to beat Marvin Hagler. You know, everything. He had everything, and he even had the power to hurt him. But he just didn't execute it properly. It is what it is. Thomas Hearns a hell of a fighter, though. Like I said, you have to be smart in there. And a lot of times, boxers have a lot of skills and a lot of abilities, but how you use those skills and abilities is another story. So like people could talk about the most skilled fighter, and it don't mean shit. A guy could have 2 skills, right? He got 2 skills, but he know how to use them at the right time. Take for instance Deontay Wilder. Luis Ortiz is probably the more skilled, the more all-rounded fighter than Deontay Wilder, right? How did Wilder beat him? Wilder used what he knew to do very well, and he used his smarts to walk Luis Ortiz into that, what he does well. If you're a pressure fighter, you may not have all that skill in the world, but you know how to pressure your opponents properly. You could be able to get it in a position where you could get them in a corner, wail on them. Maybe you don't even have the best defense. You're collecting a whole set of shots. But if you could tolerate the shots, then you could wail on them and you can get them out of there, right? So it's not always about the most skilled fighter, right? That's not the point. It's always about the guy who, let's just say this, the smarter fighter generally wins fights. The smarter fighter. Not the guy that's perceived as smarter, the smarter fighter. That's how I'm going to put it. Because the guy who can use the skills that he's given to get another guy out of there is probably the guy who's the smarter guy in the ring, because he's getting to do what he wants to do, and he's making the other guy less and less do what he wants to do. See? So it's not so much about the skills, because if you look at, for example, Joey Maxson versus Sugar Ray Robinson, Sugar Ray Robinson was a hell of a lot more skilled than Joey Maxson. But Joey Maxson, he said, and his manager said, well, we just wanted him to punch himself out. And we just kept on working the body whenever we got a chance. Which, if you ever watched the fight, that's what he did. And Heat was incredible and all that. But at the end of the day, they were the smarter guys. That's why Sugar Ray Robinson had to stay on his stool and retire, right? And I use that not to put any down on Sugar Ray Robinson, not to say that he wasn't a smart fighter or anything, but just to show you guys that Jose Napoles versus Carlos Monzon. Go watch the fight. Jose Napoles comes out. He's faster, dude. He's throwing a whole set of fucking punches. You're going to wear yourself out. And then he got a big muscle mass. You know, great Cuban school of boxing, giving Monzon all kinds of problems. But you just, as we like to say, you are a front starter. You're a front runner, right? You going to go good for 4 rounds. And then after that, Carlos Monzon going to pick your ass apart and I stop you, right? And this is exactly what happened. Like Uracus Gamboa versus Terrence Crawford, right? Great front runner, right? Came out there, was tearing it up. But once you survive that storm and you use your defense and you work in that body, then after that, he's for the pickings, right? I'm just saying this to let you guys know the Cuban school of boxing come from an amateur background. So these guys are great for 4 rounds, all right? But after 4 rounds, they're not that great. They're predictable and shit, all right? If you know what you're doing. So just something to put in your pipe and smoke that and think about what I'm saying. All right. Luis Ortiz, same thing. You know, I'm just saying, putting it out there. Okay. So when you talk about the Cuban school of boxing, there was guys like Kid Gavilan and Kid Chocolate they were legit. Okay. But nonetheless, the point is, I'm not saying that Ortiz and these guys are not legit, but I'm just saying, if you come from an amateur background where you mostly fighting 3 and 4 round fights, which is where Lomachenko and all these guys came from, now you're stepping up into the pros. Pros go 12 rounds. See? So it's a different game. I'm just saying. Raul Ramirez says that ESPN reporter really doesn't like Canelo. Yeah, well, you know what it is. It's all good, though. Canelo confronted him. Both of them talked. Intangible Boxing says Loma has some of the best footwork I've ever seen. Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you 100%. One of the only guys I see and say, how the fuck did he do that? I hear you, man. I hear you. I kind of know what he do now. I know what he do, though. Now, Tangible Boxing says Canelo beat Danny Jacobs 8-4. Isn't domination. 8-4 ain't domination. Okay, whatever. Intangible Boxing says, I don't think Canelo is more skilled than Bud. I don't think so either. Well, I wouldn't say, okay, so this is what I would say. I would say that Canelo has a lot of honed skills. Like, when you see him make movements, they're sharp, they're precise, they're very, very rehearsed, okay? Remind me of Floyd in that respect. Bud's a little bit more elastic with his movement, not as rehearsed. It's like talking about Floyd and James Toney. James Toney was more fluid. Floyd was more rehearsed. You know, you can see Floyd always working on his craft. James Toney kind of relied on his skills, yes, but he didn't hone them as much as Floyd did. That's the feeling I have with Bud and Canelo. Bud can switch hit. Bud can fight from the outside to inside. He can fight in mid-range. You know, he can fight with his guard up. He can fight with his guard down. He do different things with his feet. You know, kind of like Sugar Ray Robinson did. He has different sort of pivot work. He does kind of hop, skip, and jump sometimes. It's just a telltale kind of thing that he does when he's about to face an opponent. But, you know, Bud can fight off of both hands. He can go southpaw, he can go orthodox, depending on the situation. You know, he's got good head movement. He can change levels. His offense is very good, but he loves to engage a little too fucking much for my liking. He's smart. You know, he has good sense of timing. Once he finds out the floor, he gonna test it out first, and then he gonna put some oomph behind it to try and get the stoppage. He don't really have a quick twitch muscle like a Floyd or a Canelo. Actually, I think Canelo's a lot quicker than Terrence Crawford, and that's weird for me to say. I think he goes more on rhythm. I think he goes more on timing. He has sweet timing, you know. So Terrence is more of a timing guy than say a Canelo or a Floyd, which are they're more very quick in reaction. Canelo more reacts with combinations. Terrence also is a pot shotter like Canelo. He's not really like Floyd. He has a different stance. He's more wide. He can get hit more often. He gets hit more easily than, say, a Canelo or Floyd. He's willing to engage. He's tough. Got a mean streak in him. Probably punches harder than Floyd or Canelo. Maybe. I don't know. He reminded me of, if I was comparing Devin Haney, say, to, for instance, a Gervonta Davis. Haney is not as sharp as Gervonta Davis. Terrence is not as sharp as Canelo. He's not. He's not as sharp as Floyd. But he's got that wonderful timing. He's not as fast as Canelo or Floyd either, in terms of how fast they move. He's not as fast as them. But he has a nice timing. He times very well. He has good placement of punches, even though he's a little bit sloppy with his punches. But then again, right hand, left hand, you know, that kind of thing. He's getting better at it. He's getting sharper. You can see he works on his craft. No days off. I like his attitude. He's a smart fighter, okay? Canelo is not as good on the outside as he is mid-range and inside. That's his forte. But he can box on the outside. He can box off the back foot. He has an array of guards that he uses. He's more like Floyd. He does more things like Floyd. Even though Terrence Crawford does a lot of things like Floyd as well. Peeping through the high guard and that sort of stuff. But Terrence kind of more. Another thing that I like about Terrence is you can see that besides him being ambidextrous, he can do one thing independent of another. What I mean by that is, so he could be circling the ring with his feet, moving his hands at a different rate, moving his head at a different rate to his hands, but his movement is very excessive. So, like for instance, if he's going to, you know, get away from a punch or something, like move his head, he moves it excessively, okay? His footwork's a bit excessive sometimes too. It's not as precise as, say, a Floyd or Canelo. They don't waste no fucking movement at all. Even if Canelo missed by miles, he kind of reined it in, and he got this. He tried to stay in balance all the time. Errol Spence is another guy that got a ridiculously strong stance. I don't know what'll happen after this accident, but he has a fucking brilliant strong stance. I've never seen nobody with a stronger stance than Terrence. You can see that Terrence works on his balance all the time. That motherfucker always in balance. He has a ridiculous stance. Better stance than Canelo and Floyd in terms of strong stance. He got a strong... You know what? I would have loved to have seen Errol Spence face Floyd. Honestly. I would have loved to seen that. You know, we might get Errol Spence versus Canelo. We may see that. But yeah, Terrence Crawford, skill-wise, I think he got... Canelo got... Well, actually, Canelo got a lot of subtle things that he do. So I can't really say whether Terrence Crawford... If Terrence Crawford is more skilled than Canelo, I don't know. I would say he's a better outboxer than Canelo, I think. Because he does a lot of outboxing and he can do it off the back foot. I've seen Canelo do outboxing. I've seen Canelo in the same fight outbox, fight on the inside, walk to a fighter, fight mid-range. I've seen him do it all. So, you know, but Canelo's learned different things and he started to kind of incorporate it in his resume. Whereas Terrence has been doing it for a while. So I think he'd be better than Canelo in that, I think. But Canelo, head movement, different guards, different stance, changes levels. Got good defense. You don't touch Canelo like that. He hardly gets touched in fights. You'll never see him with a cut eye or none of that shit. He's never broken nose, bloody nose. Canelo ain't never had none of that shit in his career. And that's crazy just to think about. And people just don't realize how good his defense is. His defense is ridiculously good. And he's so very fucking precise with what he does. Like if he gonna slip a punch, he's not, he don't waste no fucking movement. You gonna miss and just barely miss him. You know, that kind of shit. So, I want to see him against Demetrius Andrade. Of course, he's much more proven with his skills because he's faced better competition than Terrence Crawford throughout his career. So I don't know. You know, maybe Bud is more skilled than Terrence. Maybe. You know, I mean, Canelo can do change levels just like Bud. You know, he's got the high guard. He can walk you down. He can fight off the back foot. He can. He don't waste movement though. He don't waste movement. He has faced guys much faster than him. You know, he had Amir Khan. He had Yorkers Gamboa with Terrence Crawford. He's faced guys a lot stronger than him, bigger than him. Terrence Crawford hasn't faced guys much bigger and stronger than him per se. I think Indongo was one of them, but he was generally the biggest lightweight in the lightweight division. Baby Victor Postol was bigger than him. He never really faced guys that could punch harder than him. I guess you got Ray Beltran, but that's about it. So when it comes to Terrence Crawford, I mean, he's got a good skill set, but he's not really tested like Canelo. Canelo's been tested. So the skills, and then you can see that Canelo has home skills. Okay, his skills are like, you can see he rehearses shit. Terrence Crawford's been rehearsing this shit for probably a kid, but I still feel like his skills are not as sharp as Canelo's skills. He's not as sharp a boxer as Canelo is. So this is just my take on it. Maybe he has more skills than Canelo. I mean, Canelo he can also fight from the southpaw stance, but he doesn't do it much. He won't fight the whole fight with the southpaw stance for sure. Danny Jacobs can do the same, but they're not really like Terrence Crawford. He got to switch his skills. He's ambidextrous in both hands. Canelo don't have that, but Canelo has everything else. He has the infighting skills. He has the outboxing skills. He's always coming to the fight doing something different. And Terrence does it too, but not as markedly as Canelo. It shows that Canelo's learning things. And that's why I don't know if I would say that Terrence Crawford is more skilled than Canelo. Canelo's ever evolving, whereas Terrence Crawford is sort of what you see is what you get until you give him leveled up so you can see something extra, you know. But his sense of timing, his placement is the thing that really gets Terrence Crawford over there. You know, he'll do the necessary to get up to speed with a fighter like Amir Khan. He'll do speed training and stuff. But again, at the same time, you know, he's really looking to place his punches properly, get proper defense, be defensively responsible, that kind of stuff, you know. But I mean, Canelo, you think about it, anything you're talking about with Terrence Crawford, Canelo, if he's doing it, if he's doing the skill set that Terrence is doing, he's doing it so much on a higher level, in my opinion. In terms of he don't waste no fucking movement. You could see he rehearsed that shit like forever. And that's the thing. He's more sharper. He's more precise with whatever he does that he do. Whereas Terrence is not as sharp as Canelo. But then again, he's not as quick as Canelo. So I guess that's why. Mr. Hulk 333 says you can never dominate a high-level experienced fighter. It takes a lot more than what you think. Exactly, Mr. Hulk 333. Preach it, brother. Well said. I just said that before, too. Tangible Boxing says Pacquiao and he who must not be named, whose initials are FMJ, did. James Toney and Roy Jones Jr. did. They were special fighters, though. They special fighters, right? And also, most importantly, they were coming up in an era sometimes where they faced these guys later in their careers. Remember, Terrence Crawford's done a lot in his career for the short career he has had. And Canelo also, well, Canelo is just on another level. He faced some top tier guys, you know, and he's, you know, I mean, shit. He done a lot already. Bud makes Spence look silly. How do you mean? I don't understand. Intangible Boxing says Bud annihilates any version of Spence, in my opinion. I don't know, man. He never faced an Errol Spence, so I can't really say. Like, I don't know how you guys get that confidence. A lot of people feel it's a 50-50 fight. That is, it's, you know, it's a close fight. I don't know. I can't say. You know, now that Terrence Crawford is at 147, and he's a legitimate 147, we got to see it first. You know, he hasn't convinced me. His career best win is against Gamboa, right? He has never faced an Errol Spence before. He's never faced a Sean Porter before. He ain't looking to face a Sean Porter. He talking about friends. If he's a friend, give him his fucking paycheck. Shit, I like what Caleb Plant said. You know, he was talking about the other guy that he spars with and they brothers and shit. But he said, you know what, I'll fight his ass in a heartbeat. I don't have a problem fighting his ass. Plus, he gonna get a paycheck. So, fuck. If I'm your friend, if I'm your brother, I'll give you a fucking paycheck. What the fuck? You know why they say they friends and brothers? Because they know it's a tough fight. That's why Caleb Plant revealed it. He said, this motherfucker, he's skilled. It'll be a tough fight. That's why they talk about we brothers and shit. Because, you know, they know how tough the fucking fight would be. You know what I'm saying? Raw Ramirez, if Crawford was a middleweight, could he have been able to beat some of Canelo's opponents? Yeah, absolutely. But it would have been tough fights. It would have been tough fights. Him against Erislandy Lara would have been a tough fight. No doubt, right? You think he would have beaten Erislandy Lara? I don't know. It would have been a tough fight, right? Him against Floyd Mayweather would have been a tough fight, right? I see him beating Austin Trout. I see him beating Austin Trout. Danny Jacobs versus him would have been a tough fight. It would have been a tough fight. Him against Triple G. I mean, if he was a middleweight, I would expect him to beat Triple G too. Would have been a tough fight. Because Triple G, he don't give up. He keep on bringing it. And Terrence was not going to knock Triple G out. Ain't nobody knocking out Triple G. That motherfucker got, I mean, this motherfucker hit and he just keep coming. You know, but here's my question to you. My question to you is, if Canelo was at welterweight facing the competition Crawford faced, what would have happened? Well, he faced one of them, right? He faced Amir Khan. What happened? I'm just saying. Canelo versus Jeff Horn. Jeff Horn is a middleweight. We're not even talking about that shit, are we? We're not even talking about Canelo versus Jeff Horn, right? I'm just saying. What do you think would happen if Canelo faced Jeff Horn? I mean, that's what Terrence Crawford faced. And Jeff Horn's a middleweight right now. Okay? He still got to get past the dude that get knocked out by Peter Quillen. He trying to rematch the dude that knocked him out. Okay? I'm just asking. We can flip the script and say, okay, if Terrence Crawford was to, if Canelo was to face the opponents that Terrence Crawford faced throughout his career, a Ricky Burns, a fucking Gamboa, okay? Let's see, Ray Beltran, okay? I'm just picking out the best ones, right? Victor Postol, Ndongo, Felix Diaz. And the other kid, I can't remember what his name is, right? If he would have faced those dudes, those are the best that Terrence Crawford faced, right? What do you think would have happened? Knockout, right? Okay, then. And the same thing for Sean Porter. And the same thing for, because, I mean, Sean Porter, Danny Garcia, all these guys, they proved themselves at super lightweight. So it's not like these guys would knock these guys out. We expect that, right? We expect it of them. And again, all I'm saying is, you know, Crawford versus the competition that Canelo faced, we don't know if Crawford will win some of those fights. I don't know if Crawford will beat Danny Jacobs. I don't know if Crawford will beat Floyd Mayweather. Canelo didn't beat Floyd Mayweather, by the way. Would he have done better? I don't know. I can't say. Would Crawford have beaten, would he have beaten Triple G? More than likely, I think so, but it would have been a tough fight, right? Would Crawford have beaten Arislandi Lara? I don't know. I can't say. Arislandi Lara really good at what he do. And the only way you really going to beat Arislandi Lara is if you are a Jarrett Hurd, that's a big, big fucking junior middleweight, and you can take punches and keep coming. Right? Is Terrence Crawford that? No. So, you know, that's just, you know, just putting that in perspective right there. Then, would Terrence Crawford have jumped up 2 weight classes and faced Sergey Kovalev? I don't care what version of Sergey Kovalev. Would he have done it? No. Right? He didn't jump up 2 weight classes to try and face any welterweight in the welterweight division right now. Right? Far less do that. So, I mean, all you got to do is put it in perspective. Mr. Pitt, and then just look at Canelo, man. The man looked like a fucking Mike Tyson. His neck is thick. Look at that motherfucker, how he's built. Look how Adrian Broner is built. Look how Gervonta Davis is built. Look how those motherfuckers are built. That should tell you something. That should tell you something. They built like tanks. Mr. Pigeon Mike Tyson. Shout out to Mr. Pigeon Mike Tyson. Ryder beat Smith. I had him 2-up. Caleb Plant would beat Smith. And Benavidez would. Think so? So you think Canelo would beat Smith as well? Mr. Pigeon Mike Tyson says Smith beat a washed-up, injured George Groves. All right, you can make excuses for that. He beat him. That's the point. Groves was out boxing, but he beat him. I don't know. You see, you guys kind of try. Anyway, whatever. Whatever. He beat him. That's the important thing. That's fact. Intangible boxing. Hence why Spence, Danny, Mikey, Keith, and Pac ducking Bud. Even your boy Sean don't want Bud. The Bud don't want Sean either. Bud talking like we friends, trying to shut that shit down. Sean probably the only one who's saying, "Oh, if Bud agreed to it, then we wouldn't face each other." Bud ain't eager to face Sean either. Don't do like that. Don't do like that at all. Let's be honest now. Y'all making it sound like Bud some boogeyman. He ain't no fucking boogeyman. He ain't no boogeyman. Y'all trying to get Bud a fight. And I ain't mad at y'all. Y'all trying to promote a fight with Bud. Smash that like button, people. Don't be coming in here. Okay, thank you. So fucking funny. Anyway, back to what I said. Don't be doing like this man some boogeyman. He ain't no fucking boogeyman, okay? Bud is not a boogeyman. He ain't no boogeyman. He's not a boogeyman. Wilder. Now, Wilder could be considered a boogeyman, kind of. But like I said, the boogeyman, he ain't a boogeyman once you take away his weapons. His weapon is the right hand, and he got a pretty decent jab. You take that away from him, he's no longer a boogeyman. He got to resort to something else. What are you going to do? And that's what people forget. You got to box like that. Ron Ramirez says Crawford is definitely being ducked by the top dogs at welterweight. You serious? Are you serious, Ninja? You're not serious, man. Intangible Boxer says, I don't want to hear PBC fanboys say Bud got to come to PBC because Wilder facing Fury again. No problem. Errol Spence was supposed to face Bud in 2020, but I ain't know if that's going to happen. Errol Spence's hands don't look that great. They saying he going to face Danny Garcia. I don't think so. I think he's going to have to take a break from boxing. He was geared up to face Terrence. Then he went and fucked it all up. Drinking and driving and drinking and drinking. He fucked that up. That's on him. He fucked up his paycheck. Raul Ramirez says, of course, Wilder is much stronger. He's a damn heavyweight. But that had to do with anything. No, I'm saying he a boogeyman because, well, at least he looked like a boogeyman until somebody shows that he's not. He's still considered a boogeyman. But you just take away his right hand. Take away his right hand. Ain't that hard to take away his right hand if you know what you're doing. If you don't know what you're doing, well, too bad. No. Mr. Pigeon Mike Tyson says, Manny's career is amazing. Fuck yeah. For sure. Mr. Pigeon Mike Tyson says, Crawford's career is going very well, but no guys want that smoke. Crawford versus Mikey would be good, or Danny. Get the fuck out of here. Crawford versus Mikey? No. Crawford versus Danny, not Mikey. Mikey's coming off a loss. I don't want to see no Crawford versus Mikey. I don't want to see no Pacquiao versus Mikey. Mikey need to get a win first. Get a win under your belt, and then we can talk about you facing anybody else. You don't need no paycheck right now. You just suffered a loss to Errol Spence. All right, so he need to go get a rebound fight. Danny versus Crawford's a good fight. Danny versus Pacquiao's a good fight. Not no fucking Mikey. Fuck Mikey. Mikey just came off a loss. Come on, man, people. Manny beats Danny, Mikey, or Crawford. I have him as the greatest boxer, not pound for pound boxer ever. Oh, dude, I can't knock you. He might be the greatest boxer ever. We'll see. His career isn't over yet, so we have to see. He might be. He might be. I mean, he's done some shit that, man, y'all don't understand. That fucking Pacquiao been doing some shit that I just never expected. He defied my expectations, so, shit. But can he beat Danny Garcia? He got a chance against anybody. Shit, I ain't counting out Pacquiao. It's Pacquiao. I don't count him out no more. He was motivated for the Keith Thurman fight, though. I don't know if he'd be motivated as much for the Danny Garcia fight, but he should be motivated because Danny Garcia is like a modern Juan Manuel Marquez. If you want to get back Marquez, you face Danny, not fucking Mikey. If he faced Mikey, man, I'll be like, shit, really? Like, really? This dude just came off a loss. You gonna pick him? Mikey don't deserve that. Danny deserved it. He just beat the crap out of Adrian Granados. Stopped him. So, Crawford deserved it as well. Crawford being there with No, Crawford was in a division below. He might not deserve it as much as Danny deserved it. Who else deserved it? If Thurman won a rematch, he could say he deserved it because it was a close fight. Um, you can't say Sean Porter because Sean Porter coming off a loss, and I guess that's why Crawford could say, Porter coming off a loss. Why should I face Porter? But then technically Porter won. I mean, but yeah, he coming off a loss, so I guess not him either. Man, Mr. Pigeon Mike Tyson, you got a point, man. He could possibly be the greatest boxer. It's gonna be hard to surpass Ali, but he up there, in my opinion. Mr. Pigeon Mike Tyson, Ortiz has no professional pedigree to suggest he's a top level operator. Oh no, man, Ortiz is a bad motherfucker though. He bad. His boxing skills pretty good. Now, people say he beat Duck, but he was offered to face Anthony Joshua and he turned it down, right? So you can't really say that people was ducking him when Anthony Joshua offered him to face him, right? And he turned it down. So you can't say that he a duck guy and all of that shit. But Ortiz come from the Cuban school of boxing. The motherfucker can box. From based on what y'all was saying, I didn't watch the fight. He was outboxing Wilder. So he's a good fighter. He's a good fighter. He's solid. So, I mean, I still have to talk about Leo Santa Cruz versus whatever the guy's name is. I forgot his name. And, yeah, I think that's the other fight I got to talk about. So I'm going to talk about it in a minute. Raul Ramirez, shout out to Raul Ramirez once again. Tyson Fury is probably the only man who could possibly best Wilder. Yeah, I think so. I think he got good enough defense and everything, and he's sharp and he's staying active, doing all this WWE and all this other stuff. So he's staying active, so he's staying in shape, and that's what he need to do. So the Tyson Fury we're going to see against Wilder is going to be a better Tyson Fury. And if he boxed Wilder like the first time and he just boxed him properly, and what he has to do is just make sure and take away Wilder's right hand from him. Protect his body like he did in the first fight. It was amazing that Otto Wilder got to his body, get under the jab, but then Tyson Fury closed the distance, started fighting him on the inside, and that was over. But, Tyson Fury's got a lot of skill. So, honestly speaking, Tyson Fury, yeah, I see Tyson Fury beating Deontay Wilder again. If Ortiz could do that to him, if based on what you guys saying, Ortiz outbox him, then Tyson Fury definitely going to outbox him. He's not going to get caught with those kind of shots. Unless he loses his focus and concentration, which he's supposed to keep all the way through the fight. That's another thing. Guys like Canelo and Floyd, they don't lapse in concentration like Zab Judah and those guys. Zab Judah used to lapse in concentration. Pernell Whitaker, Floyd, those elite guys, they keep their concentration all the way through, man. They stay focused. So if Tyson Fury can do that, he'll win. He'll win. Tangible boxing. I don't want to hear any Wilder with Klitschko comparison like they did after the Fury fight. Wilder with Klitschko. I don't understand. What are you talking about? Wilder's not Klitschko. Wilder's Wilder. Wilder's Wilder. Wilder do Wilder. If you're asking me if Wilder would have dispatched Klitschko and not have a life and death battle, I think he would have done well against Klitschko and he would have stopped him. He'd have dispatched him. I don't know exactly how that fight would have gone down, but I think he'd have dispatched him. Mr. Pigeon Mike Tyson says, true, Raw. AJ gets buzzed too easily. I mean, styles make fights. The thing with it is, AJ didn't expect Ruiz to be able to double up those shots on the inside so fast. Ruiz caught him with a shot on the inside. AJ got to the inside. Ruiz had faster hands, just faster all around. And he caught him with some short, compact shots on the inside. And then stunned him with that left to the head. That's what happened. I mean, when a guy's hitting you with a plethora of punches on the inside, you trying to punch and clinch, and dude don't want to let you clinch it. He just clear the distance and just start throwing punches at you. That's what will happen. Afro-American Thought says fight like Dillian White, Derek Chisora, and especially Jarrell Miller would give Deontay Wilder hell. Derek Chisora, not so much. Derek Chisora reminds me of, in my opinion, he reminds me of that Mexican dude from Riverside. What's his name? The Mexican dude. You guys know what I'm talking about. He faced Klitschko, Vitaly Klitschko. We was talking about him and Povetkin, who's better. I forgot his name. This is the guy that Stavern knocked out. Here, Chisora remind me of him. Okay? Dillian White, not really an inside fighter either. He fight on the outside. So he gonna get knocked out. So Chisora definitely gonna get knocked the fuck out because he don't have good defense. Dillian White, he gonna get knocked out as well. Okay? Jarrell Miller, on the other hand, that is an interesting prospect. Jarrell Miller and Andy Ruiz are going to be problems for Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder. Period. Because those guys know how to bob and weave, slip and slide, and all the other shit. Now, Ruiz still gets caught with the right hand. He can't afford to get caught with the right hand against Wilder. So they'll have to form a game plan to take away the right hand from Wilder. But other than that, these motherfuckers are going to be problems for anybody in the division because guess what they do very well? They fight on the inside and mid-range. And that is a problem. Okay? Now, Jarrell Miller, he takes a lot of punches as well. He can't afford to take punches from Wilder like that. He's going to get destroyed. But if those two guys can get past, make sure that he makes Wilder miss more than he hits them with the right hand, they are going to give Wilder all the hell in the world and could win the fight. Okay? Ruiz has fast hands, quick feet, and he's a smart guy and how to find his way to the inside. And he works the body. So Ruiz is going to be a problem for everybody in the division. It will not surprise me that he knocks out Anthony Joshua again. Okay, I don't care how much Anthony Joshua trains. He probably going to get stopped by Ruiz again. That style is a problem for taller fighters. And Ruiz specializes in fighting taller fighters. Okay? Jarrell Miller is a problem as well. I would love to see Andy Ruiz versus Jarrell Miller as well. That would be a good fight too. Mr. Pigeon says, Monzon on that Argentinian beefsteaks. Well, you know, he killed his wife and shit. He was very aggressive, so I don't know, man. You might be right. Who knows? Nobody was checking him back in the day. Mr. Pigeon Mike Tyson says to African American Thoughts, Miller maybe, other nah. I agree with you, brother. Tangible Boxing says, I don't think White will be too much for Wilder. He leaves himself open. I agree, 100%. Wilder gonna knock his ass out. Afro-American Thought says, those fighters love to fight awkward and on the inside. Yes, sir. That's the problem. Once they get to the inside, and they will, it's gonna be problems. Now, Wilder can fight on the inside. Tyson Fury can fight on the inside. So it doesn't mean that they can't handle themselves on the inside, but it's still, it'll be more an inside fight battle, which means it's harder to knock those guys out. And those guys would be more the guys, especially the hand speed of Ruiz. Oh, shit. That could be a problem. Mr. Pigeon Mike Tyson says, White fights like he's already hit, and Chisora is too old now. It don't matter. Chisora get hit too much. And White get hit too much. And White is not an inside fighter. He fights on the outside. So he done already lost that fight. He ain't going to out jab Wilder. He's not going to set up Wilder for nothing. He's just going to get knocked out. Afro-American Thoughts. That's why I don't understand why, you know, but what the WBC president, Mauricio Suleiman, said was that White still has this case going on with UCAD. So they have this court case that's going on, and he can't. So because of that, the WBC can't even rule on anything. So they got to suspend him. So it makes sense. Afro-American Thought says, but Jarrell Miller has the best shot at beating Wilder. Fuck no. Oh, sorry. I thought you were saying no. Sorry. My bad. Jarrell Miller. Okay, yeah. Jarrell Miller and Andy Ruiz. They have the best shots at beating Wilder. I thought you said Dillian White. I was like, Dillian White? I read it but I did not comprehend it. Mr. Pigeon, Mike Tyson says Miller is a beast. Yeah, but he kind of using performance-enhancing drugs. That take off the steam from him, though. Maybe without those performance-enhancing drugs, he can't take the shots like he does. Afro-American Thought says, if Miller had more power, I would definitely say he beats Wilder. He can still beat Wilder without power. Look at Sean Porter. He not known as a one-punch knockout artist or anything, and get people out of there. And I thought he beat Errol Spence. Mr. Pigeon Mike Tyson says, I love your channel. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Don't forget to share the videos and subscribe and donate. Tangible Boxing says, in hindsight, I think Miller would have beaten AJ. I agree. But he doped. He doped. So what good is that? I mean, what good is that? He doped. He fucked himself up. He's to blame. So, Mr. Pigeon Mike Tyson says, I met Big Baby in the UK. I wear glasses. He grabbed me and breathed on my specs so it went cloudy. Gave me a huge hug. I love that guy. Friendly, happy dude, but he can bang. Yeah, he's a nice guy. I watch him. He clown a lot. He joke around. He eat a lot. He remind me of George Foreman, kind of like. Mr. Pigeon Mike Tyson says, cheeseburger. Yeah. Afro-American Thought says, you think Canelo has faster hands than Bud? Yep. More explosive, quicker, sharper, faster combinations. Hell yeah. Much faster. Bud got that timing. Beautiful timing. So does Canelo and Floyd, but they sharper. They are sharper than Bud. More rehearsed is what I call it. Bud is more elastic. It's not bad. It's not bad. Elastic is good. Bud is more, I would say Bud more fluid. He's more fluid with what he does. Mr. Pigeon Mike Tyson said, Gervonta Davis and his padded resume, the human frog. I hear you, brother. At least he's facing Yurkus Gamboa. Not really that great, but then again, a lot of people face, former world champions, and he is young, so we're going to give him a bly. We give him a bly. We're going to give him a break. But I'm not giving him for much longer. He better face good competition now. Afro-American Thought says, I give you this. Canelo is definitely more accurate than Bud. Yeah, he's sharp. He's sharp, too. He missed a lot, though. Don't get it twisted. He missed a lot of punches, but he's sharp. He's sharp. He's a sharpshooter. Very, very sharp. Again, to me, he reminds me of Floyd a lot. Okay? He might be Mexican, but he reminds me a lot of Floyd. I see a lot of Floyd in him. You could see this kid study Floyd, or people like Floyd. Canelo's accuracy is so on point. Yeah. Gervonta Davis is another guy that's kind of like Floyd. Young, pretty boy Floyd. Very, very sharp. Very, very sharp. Like I said to you guys, I think I always said Adrian Broner, Gervonta Davis, and Canelo have a lot in common. Pretty much why they probably like Canelo, because they have a lot in common. Spence has a good back game. What do you mean by good back game? I don't understand. Mr. Pigeon, Mike Tyson says, true test for Crawford is Danny, Mikey, or Old Manny. For sure. For sure. For sure. I agree. Not Mikey so much. Not Mikey so much. But Manny and Danny are going to be stiff tests for Crawford. I can guarantee you that. They're going to be stiff tests. He's going to have to adapt to those two guys. Because Danny, what Danny loves to do, counter you. What Manny likes to do is initiate, then counter. And he's fucking fast. Manny is fast. Okay? So, you better be on your game with your footwork. The footwork is going to get you out of the problems. Because you got to get out of the way of Manny. But you still got to tag him at the same time. So, Crawford got that footwork for that. With Danny, that's going to be a hard fight, though. That's going to be a fucking hard fight. Danny don't lay down. And Danny will counter you. Crawford going to have to be the boxer. Danny now walking people down, cutting off the ring really well. So, and Danny's a big fucking welterweight now. He big. He's strong, too. Strong as an ox. Crawford ain't knocking Danny out. Keith Thurman couldn't knock Danny out. Crawford ain't knocking Danny out. Okay? Lucas Batiste couldn't knock Danny out. He hit him flush. Okay? Danny ain't going nowhere. So Crawford, he ain't dropping Danny. That shit ain't even happening. Danny has never been dropped in his career. So let me just let y'all know. And that's the thing about Danny. If you can't even drop Danny... and Keith Thurman had the best chance to drop Danny. Keith Thurman had the power to do it. Crawford, no fucking way, Crawford. And Danny can punch. So Crawford, that's a good fight, I'm telling you. It's a good fight because Danny got them fundamentals down pat. Danny has good defense, you know, and Danny can cut the fucking ring off really well now. So I don't know, man. That's a good fight for Terrence Crawford. That would be a great fight for Terrence Crawford. I'm telling y'all. He get past Danny. We could talk about Sean Porter. We could talk about Errol Spence. We could talk about Keith Thurman. He get past Danny. Then we can talk about them other guys. But I'm telling y'all, Danny is not that dude that you like. Even Pacquiao versus Danny is dangerous for Pacquiao. Dangerous for Pacquiao. Because Danny do what Marquez do. Danny can counterpunch. If there's anybody that can knock out Pacquiao, it's gonna be Danny. Because his style is just perfect for a Pacquiao fight. Like that, it can be nothing else but just explosion. It's gonna be explosive. Okay, you saw what Danny did to Amir Khan. Amir Khan faster than Pacquiao. Danny's timing is ridiculous. His radar gets on you, your ass is grass. Okay, Sean Porter rushed Danny and he fought him on the inside. Pacquiao don't fight on the inside. Pacquiao got to be in the pocket with Danny to get to Danny. He got to get in there. So I'm saying it makes for an exceptionally enjoyable fight in which if Pacquiao can knock out Danny, that would be great, but it ain't gonna happen. Danny is a problem. Danny's style is a problem for Pacquiao. That's why if they make that fight happen, that's a risky fight for Pacquiao. But if he comes out with a win somehow, some way, it's gonna be by split decision. It's gonna be a close ass fucking fight because Danny counters like a motherfucker. That's the thing. Danny. That's what Danny do. That's what Marquez did. And I think Danny got more power than Marquez. So that makes for a very interesting fight. Very intriguing fight. Very intriguing fight. Does Pacquiao make it out of facing Danny Garcia? Right? And Danny Garcia is not no fucking chump. He's not no joke. Y'all make jokes about Danny Garcia and all that shit. But I'm telling y'all, he's not a joke. Right? I've been talking about Danny for the longest while that he and Marquez have something in common. They're counterpunchers. Right? So, shit. And Danny will do his speed training to handle Pacquiao, and he's going to be getting there rumbling, boy. And everybody underestimates Danny Garcia, and that's why he always comes through with the W. Or close to getting the W. You know what I mean? I'm just saying. The Crawford versus Danny would be a good fight. That would be a good fight. That's a good fight. I still could see Crawford probably. I don't know, man. I don't know. That's a good fight. I don't know who would win, to be honest with you. And that says a lot for Crawford and Danny. Afro-American Thought says GGG could have got stopped last fight if the guy kept pressing and going to the body. It's hard to stop Triple G. I mean, maybe Canelo stops him the next, if they ever fight. Canelo probably not going to do another fight with him anyway. But he on his way out. He on his way out. He gonna defend that IBF belt till he die. Mr. Hulk 333, he's laughing. Tangible Boxing says, just had a Popeye's chicken sandwich today, so I'm tripping. Man, that's a nice sandwich, bro. Make me want to eat something. Popeye's cracked chicken sandwich, love. Hey, man, at least you had some chicken. Afro-American Thought says, Wilder, the Grim Reaper. Intangible Boxing says, Errol Spence told Bud, get a belt. Bud did, and Spence then said, nah, I'm going to take the easy route. I remember that when they faced each other. He said, man, I'm going to get them easy belts first. It wasn't that easy, was it now? Was it? That Sean Porter belt wasn't easy. He had to earn that shit. Was it really the easy route? Intangible Boxing says, then PBC strips the WBO recognition. No, they never stripped it. They recognize Terrence Crawford. They've been talking about Terrence Crawford for the longest while now. Afro-American Thought says, man, Crawford beats Mikey easy in my opinion. He beats him. He beat him in the amateurs. I don't see why he won't beat him in the pros. He beat him. And Mikey's a smart fighter and everything, but he beat him. Tangible Boxer says Manny and Floyd don't belong near Henry Armstrong and Crab. Okay. Raw Ramirez says, I thank God that I'm not into the fast food because it seems to me that Popeye's chicken sandwich is overrated. African American Thought says, yes, Jarrell Miller and Ruiz are the black sheep of the division. Yes, sir. For sure. Raw Ramirez says, Jarrell Miller needs to put those burgers down if he decides to face those guys. Foreman used to eat burgers too. He had a grill and all that shit, Sometimes weight don't do you bad. If you can move, you can handle the weight. Raw Ramirez says, Andy Ruiz versus John Ruiz. Who wins? Andy by knockout. I know John liked to clinch, but Andy know how to deal with that. Raw Ramirez says, if Canelo and Bud fought at middleweight, who would you pick to win? That's what I'm saying. Okay. If you're talking about Bud at welterweight jumping up to middleweight and facing Canelo, okay? But if you're just talking about Bud was a middleweight and Canelo was a middleweight, I don't know. That's a close fight. I don't know. That's a good question. Raul Ramirez says, the counterpunching style troubles Pacquiao. Yes, definitely. Raul Ramirez says he could knock Pac the fuck out, especially at his age. Yeah, he could. It's a dangerous fight for Pacquiao. He's gonna have to be careful. He'll have to be careful because, you can't have a Danny Garcia hitting you flush. You will get knocked out. That's what Keith Thurman said. He said he got hit on his arm by Danny Garcia. He said, man, if he had hit me on the chin, I would have been in problems. Danny can pack a punch. He catch you with the left hook, you in trouble. Catch you with the right, you in trouble. Danny can punch with both hands. But his punching is based on timing, and he got heavy hands, He got heavy hands and he got timing. He got some speed too, but he don't punch like Wilder. Wilder punch like a bullet. His hands shoot out like a missile. Pew! He got a lot of speed. He generated a lot of speed, and then he generates his torque. So when he hits you hard. But not so hard that it's not like a thudding hardness. That's why I said when people talk about how hard a guy punches and stuff, it's kind of hard to talk about it because it's like they just, when you talk about power, it's like different kinds of power. Guys with heavy hands like Kovalev. He looked like he just punch you ordinary, but you get hit flush with that shit. I remember Kovalev hit Canelo with a jab. He got him pretty flush. Canelo's head went snapping back. His whole body went backwards. That's why I say if Triple G catch Canelo with a jab or Kovalev catch Canelo with a jab, you will see it because Canelo will literally, if you get him flush, that is, his whole head will snap back, because them guys hit hard. You understand? So that's why you gotta. That's why I say I appreciate Canelo's defense because it's like them guys can hit. Triple G got the thud and punching power, right? He got thud and punching power, and Kovalev got the same thing, right? Whereas Deontay Wilder, he got technique. He got long levers, long limbs, and then he throws it off like a missile. Throw it sharp and fast. They have different kinds of punching power. So that's why, when you say, well, who hits the hardest or who's the most powerful puncher? What are you using as your metrics? Are you looking at the KO ratio? Is that what you're looking at? If you're looking at KO ratio, okay, this guy is effective at what he does. Doesn't necessarily mean that he punches harder than another guy. And that's the hard thing for people to understand. So like when I talk about Marcus Maidana, how he mashes up people's face, he breaks people's orbital bone, like how Golovkin broke Kell Brooks' orbital bone. Is Deontay Wilder doing that? Not necessarily. He's knocking people out. He's a knockout specialist. He knows how to knock you out. But he's not breaking people's orbital bones and shit like that, right? So, and the point behind that is this, that when you're talking about punching power, or you're talking about how hard a guy punches, what exactly are you talking about? That's why I said, I ask a lot of people the question, what the fuck are you talking about? Or you say, somebody says they have great skills. What does that mean? What does great skills mean? There's you have lots of are you saying that the person has really honed skills? That's great skills. Or are you saying that they have a large array of skills, which is great skills as well? So that's why I asked the question, what do you mean? What do you mean? You see, because great skills mean what? Right? And even though you have great skills, you might have a great array of skills. If you don't know how to use that skills, what does it matter? When to use them, that is. Raul Ramirez 17 says John Ruiz is still sleeping to this day after that knockout by David Tua. Afro-American Thought says there's a different kind of power. There's different kinds of power. Exactly. Raul Ramirez 17 says maybe that's why they call John Ruiz. That's why they call John Ruiz the quiet man. Afro-American Thought says every boxer doesn't punch the same. No, they don't. That's why I say when you're talking about punching power, what do you really mean? Are you talking about KO ratio to define it? If it's so, Wilder's got a very high KO ratio. We'll see what happens at the end of his career. If you're talking about damage done to an opponent, because knockout is like short circuiting a guy or making him go down and he doesn't get back up, right? In time. All right? That's knockout power, right? Knockout power means I knocked out guys. I knocked out a lot of guys. But if you're talking about raw power, there are a lot of guys in boxing who got fucking crazy ass power, but they don't know how to use it to stop opponents. Right? There are a lot of guys with crazy ass power, but they just don't know how to stop opponents. Sometimes they don't even know how to hurt an opponent with their power. So that's why I asked that question. Who's the hardest puncher in boxing? Man, I heard guys talk about guys who they faced in the amateurs who were the hardest punchers in boxing, and they never got hit by guys harder than them. And so there's a lot of stuff. And then again, what a guy says, or what one person says, might differ from what another person says. So it's one of those things where power, the only way you can really sort of kind of level it off is to probably have some machine that measures the power, that kind of thing. But really, as I said before, raw power and all that shit in boxing don't mean shit if you don't know how to set it up and use it. So if you're not even landing on the target, what good is that? What good is all that power? And that's why people get obsessed with the power. Wilder's playing off of that, but really Wilder's using smarts. He's smart. He's not just teeing off with shots and shit like that. He's catching opponents when they're not expecting it. Dominic Brazil, he knocked down Dominic Brazil because Dominic Brazil didn't see the shot coming. He didn't see it. He wasn't braced for it. Walked right into the shot. Boom. Tyson Fury, he was able to roll the shot. That's why he survived it better. But he was very lazy with his defense, so he got he got knocked the fuck down. Right? Wilder make people walk into shots. And that's a knockout artist. It's a guy who knows how to set up his knockouts. And once he sees the opportunity, he goes for it. He walked Ruiz into that shot. African American thought says some fighters have stinging power, others have explosive power, others have thudding power. Correct. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much. Exactly. Stinging power come from the snap. Snapping power. Some guys, like take for instance Gervonta Davis. He got explosive power, but he really not that heavy a puncher. It's the snap. And he targets certain places. He'll target the body, get you down there with a body shot. Target the nose. The snapping power breaks the nose of his opponent, and he is very accurate with his punches. But he don't really got that power like to put a guy to sleep. But then again, maybe he does. If he targets certain areas like the temple, behind the ears, you know, on the top of the head, he can put guys to sleep. So a lot of times, if you look at guys that are on the chin, a lot of times, like how Canelo knocked out Kovalev, Canelo ain't that tremendous punching power knockout guy that looked like when he knocked out Kovalev. He targeted particular areas. First he hit him on the temple, then he hit him on the back of the ear, and then he finally finished it off with the left hook to the back of the ear, and then he finished it off with a picture perfect chopping right to the chin. Okay? 3-punch whammy. Kovalev survived. That's to tell you how strong Kovalev was. He survived the first two, but the third took him out, right? When Ryan Garcia faced Duno, he caught Duno with a shot. I can't remember if it was the back of the ear. Wasn't it the back of the ear? I think it was inside of the ear, back of the ear. Put down Duno, right? So it's boxing, right? Now if Deontay Wilder, catch the guy with a body shot, probably put him down too, depending on your timing. If the guy's throwing a shot and you catch him with a body shot while he's throwing, put him down, right? We saw Oscar De La Hoya get put down by Bernard Hopkins. Bernard Hopkins was no great knockout artist, but he placed the shot perfectly. Miguel Cotto versus Daniel Gill. What's his name? Versus Keith Thurman. Pacquiao versus Thurman. He didn't put Thurman down. Thurman, that's another thing I'm going to talk to you guys about, mental. But he didn't put Thurman down, but he hurt Thurman real bad. And usually a guy would go down with that punch. You saw Nonito Doronero go down with a perfectly placed body shot by Naoya Inoue. And you guys know who I'm talking about. The Italian kid who put down Keith Thurman. I can't remember his name right now. It'll come to me. The Italian kid. He just recently faced whatever. Luis Collazo. That's the guy. Luis Collazo. He almost put down Keith Thurman with a body shot. Well placed, well timed body shot. Okay. But like Nonito Doronero was saying, your mind controls your body. A person can keep themselves alive with their mind. A person can heal themselves with their mind. I was reading about that. There are people who they did what are called placebos on them, and these people healed up. They said, they told them they were well. People believed they were well, and their diseases were cured. shit, they cure their own self with their own thoughts. And that's why they tell you when you're sick to think positive, positive thinking. So if, Nonito Doronero was explaining why he didn't stay down. He said there was no way I was staying down. He said, I chose to take a knee, and then I got back up, and he said I was going to finish that fight. And I had the will to win. And he said, once you command your body, your mind, you command your body to do something, generally speaking, your body will respond no matter what. Mind over matter, as they say. And why I'm saying this is because Keith Thurman shows that. He showed how powerful his mind is. Even though he was hurt with a severe body shot by Luis Collazo and by Manny Pacquiao, he was able to come back in the fight and make the fight close against Pacquiao and beat Luis Collazo. All right? That's the kind of guy Keith Thurman is. But the point is, in both cases, it wasn't about how powerful the shot was. It was how well placed and how well timed the shot was. And Stephen Bredman Edwards, if you're going to read his article as well, there's things that I've been saying, I'm just going to use them now to say. He said the very same thing I just said. Power is overrated, he said. He said it's really more about the timing and placement of a shot than putting all this power into a shot. All right? So, just saying, putting it out there. Raul Ramirez said Julian Jackson was a very hard puncher. That is true, but Mike McCallum beat that ass. Put him to sleep. Mike McCallum wasn't trying to put all the leverage into his punches. Nope. Mike McCallum was a smart boxer. Placement. Afro-American Thought says, like Curtis Stevens has power, but don't know how to use it. Exactly. He got ridiculous power. But placement. Correct. Raul Ramirez says Harold Graham versus Julian Jackson for an example. Okay, don't know that fight. Should check it out. I know Mike McCallum versus Julian Jackson. Raul Ramirez says liver shots are the absolute worst. Yeah, man. I say that saying it very quietly because I got hit with a liver shot, bro. And I crumbled. Painful. Very painful. And you can't breathe. Right. So let me go on to the other fight, the last fight I got to talk about, which is it is Leo Santa Cruz versus whatever the guy's name is. So Leo Santa Cruz beat the guy, and now he has won his 4th world title, WBA Super Champion, Super Featherweight. Kudos to him on that. He's talking about facing either Gary Russell Jr. next, he wants, or Gervonta Davis next. Both fights are good fights for him. Both fights are going to be an uphill battle for him, but, you know, finally Leo looks like he's going to step out and face some good competition. So, kudos to him on winning those fights. Hopefully those fights will be made. Preferably with Gary Russell Jr. than Gervonta Davis. But then again, Gary Russell Jr. has so much experience that maybe that's not a good idea. Maybe Gervonta Davis might be the better bet. Either way, he's facing some dangerous territory. Gervonta Davis could knock his ass out. Gary Russell Jr. could school his ass and just outpunch him. Either way, it's going to be a good, exciting fight. So, Leo Santa Cruz, kudos to you on one of those fights. I hope that you get them, one of them, or both of them. And I hope that you can show us that you are, like you did against Abner Mars, that you are more than meets the eye. Okay. Afro-American Thought says power is hard to explain because there's a lot of science to it. I believe fighters' fighting style or mentality determine how they will punch. Yeah, man, there's a lot to it. There's a lot to power. That's why I don't really talk about who's the hardest puncher and, you know, who's the most powerful puncher and all that shit. I don't really talk about that shit because it's not something that's easy to really nail down. You could look at KO percentage, I guess, but you know, it's not like talking about Ernie Schaefer's, you know, versus, say, for instance, versus Deontay Wilder's. It's just two different techniques and just the way how these guys utilize their power. Ernie Schaefer was big and strong, but you know, he was more thudding power. You know, George Foreman the same thing, thudding power, quick but thudding power. So, you know, it's just different. Wilder's more technique and how quick the shot comes out. And he relies on his fast reaction time to catch you out of position and catch you with a shot that you didn't see coming. That's what Wilder do. Whereas Schaefer just had sheer fucking power. It's like Golovkin and Kovalov. They hit you. Whether you're aware that the punch is coming or not, it's thudding. It's going to hurt you. Marcus Maidana, same shit. Thudding power. Right? And he was awkward as fuck. You know? But Marcus Maidana didn't have all those. He had a higher knockout ratio, but he wasn't a guy that, you know, knocked out everybody. But he dropped Adrian Broner. Adrian Broner have a hell of a chin. He has not been dropped since. And he dropped Adrian Broner twice. Okay? That's why I talk about Marcus Maidana. That motherfucker can hit hard. Right? We know that. We see the damage on people's faces. There's not been a single fight where Marcus Maidana has not damaged his opponent. So we know he hits hard. You know. And so there's different. You see, there's different ways of rating Marcus Maidana. You know what I'm saying? Man, Marcus Maidana hits hard, and we know this, right? We can see it, dude. At the end of a fight, somebody got a bloody face, bloody eyes on it. You get the W, but you pay a price for it. We know Lucas Matisse also used to hit hard, right? He's a hard hitter. But it's one thing to hit hard. Can you take a hard punch back, right? Will you crumble under a hard punch? So there's all this stuff you got to think about, But anyway, I like that. I like what Afro-American Thoughts be saying, because he's absolutely 100% correct. Roy Ramirez says, I don't rate Leo Santa Cruz highly. Okay, fair enough. Raul Ramirez says he's just a good fighter with high volume punching. That's the thing that makes him, different. He got good cardio and he can throw a lot of punches. He can maintain that high throughput. Like take for instance Chris Eubank Jr. He's a good fighter, but the thing that discriminates, that separates him from everybody else is he can go hard for 12 rounds, nonstop. He can just throw punches, right? He can get hit too. He got a good chin. He can take a hit and throw punches. So, some guys are high throughput, not necessarily any special effects or anything fancy. They're just high throughput, right? Sean Porter's a little bit different. He actually has skills, various skills. I'm not saying those two guys don't have skills, but I mean he got things that you never seen before. Marcus Maidana, was good, and he was awkward as fuck. You look at guys like Terry Norris. Did I say Terry Norris? Not Terry Norris. That's terrible, Terry Norris. No, not him. Mildred Taylor. High throughput guys, throw a lot of punches. Hey, talking about it, I didn't talk about Jorge Arce and Julio Cesar Chavez. They had an exhibition over the weekend. That shit was lit. That was a fucking lit throwdown. You can see Jorge Arce was much smaller than Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. He was backing up Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. early on. Man, them guys was going at it. The referee was trying to separate them. He couldn't stop them from fighting. They were still throwing punches all the way down to the end. It was good shit, man. It was lit. I mean, Julio Cesar Chavez was much bigger than Jorge Arce. When he started landing punches on Jorge Arce, flush. Motherfucker, he knocked the head guard off of Jorge Arce. That shit was lit, man. It was good shit, man. They was going at it for real. There was a time when the referee had to stop the fight to put the head guard back on Jorge Arce. Julio Cesar Chavez hung over the ropes, breathing hard. He was like, it's good shit. Man, we need to see more of that shit, man. We don't need them, like, they should stay with headgear because, need to protect themselves and shit. But them guys was going at it. Little ass Jorge Arce and Julio Cesar Chavez, it's an exhibition, so they didn't care about weight. It was some good shit, though. It was some good shit. They were saying, Chavez, Chavez, as he was beating little Jorge's ass all around the ring. Jorge wouldn't back down. Motherfucker was still throwing blows. It was some good shit, I tell you. And nobody was backing down. I liked it, man. It was good. These old timers, man, they throw it down. They was throwing the shit down. I think it was a 6th rounder. It was good shit, man. Good shit. I was like, what? The oldies got it in them, man. They got their bengy out. Man, they was throwing down for the whole fucking 6 rounds. They threw. It was some good shit. But Chavez, man, that dude know how to hit the body, man. He worked that body like a motherfucker, man. He be slipping inside and just boom, boom. And if you see the head movement and shit, it was good, man. It was some good shit. Jorge Arce got tagged up to the head, though. He was getting tagged up to the head a little too much coming down to the end. You can see Julio Cesar Chavez was like, all right, motherfucker, you backed my ass up. I was boxing you. I was watching you. Now it's my turn. He started beating little Jorge ass up. But it was still funny, though. Jorge was not backing down. Jorge was taking some shots to the head. Boom, boom. Jorge still throwing his little punches. I was like, what? 2 legends, man. Throwing it down. It was good. It was good. There was a little bit of smart boxing in there, you know, with the dipping and stuff. But the game plan wasn't. There wasn't much game plan in there. It was just throwing it down. Chavez was more boxing him on the outside first, still getting caught with shots and shit. After he assessed little Jorge long enough, he said, "Okay, my turn." Started beating little Jorge's ass down. Jorge was game though. He was game. He's like, "I'm gonna go down swinging." It was good. It was good. It was good. Yeah, it was good. It was a good ass fight. Oh man. Raul Ramirez says, perhaps we will see an exhibition between Ray Leonard and Floyd Mayweather Sr. It would be called the Battle of the Old Heads. You know what? Roy Jones Jr. and Bernard Hopkins, they could do something like that. No need to have no professional fights. Like, I don't even know, understand why Floyd coming back into the professional boxing ring. Yeah, okay, you're going to fight, what's the kid's name? The MMA fighter who beat Conor McGregor. You're going to face him. Okay, cool. Right, cool. But at the end of the day, man, put on some fucking headgear and do some exhibition fights, man. Even though Floyd fight exhibition fights without headgear. So, you know, but the thing about exhibition fights is you don't have to worry about weight. You don't have to worry about, you know, you can set your own rules and shit. So, you know, you go in the ring and you do what you do. You know what I'm saying? If you want to have headgear, fine, you know. And you don't have to do all this set of training for exhibition. You still train, but not, you don't have to do heavy training. You know what I mean? Yeah. Floyd probably coming back in the game for easy money and then leaving. Cash grab. This part of his career, I'm not really enthralled with. I'm not hyped about and shit like that. You know, his 49 fights were okay. I like those. But this 50th and this next fight, which looks like it's going to be against, what's his name? Mahomed or whatever the fuck his name is. It don't really impress me, right? Unless he go and fight a legitimate fight like a Pacquiao or, you know, one of them young guns out there right now. You know, he was supposed to face Danny Garcia. You might as well face Danny Garcia if you want to do something like that. I don't know, man. Danny Garcia might just tax that ass up. You know what I'm saying? You know, even now I still think that Pacquiao might beat Floyd if they ever face each other. That's just my opinion. I don't know. I just think he's pretty much done with boxing. He's just pushing it now, coming back into the sport for reasons unknown to me. You know, I was listening to Showbiz the Adult, and he was talking about how he's a fighter underneath and he can't leave the boxing game. Maybe that's it. Maybe somebody got to beat his ass out of the boxing game. Maybe that's what's up. Because he should have left the boxing game alone. He shouldn't have come back into it. But more power to him. If you want to come back into it, more power to him. That's his thing. You know. But he should be smart enough to understand you 43 years of age, you got all them shoulder problems, all them hand problems, all that shit, and you going to try and come back into boxing? You got to be nuts. And you just said, I know Deontay Wilder said he's trying to surpass Floyd record, but I mean, you got to be a dumbass to go back into boxing, you know, to get hurt. Because you could get seriously hurt in this sport. Especially when you old. You old. You 43 years of age. You're not no young buck. You know, this is a young man sport. So I think I don't know. I don't think he's making wise decisions anymore. In my opinion. That's just my opinion. He looking to get his ass beat out the ring. Then he gonna stop, like Bernard Hopkins, which would be sad. It looked like he want to follow in the footsteps of Roy. Roy Ramirez says, perhaps we can see an exhibition between Roy Leonard and Floyd Sr. It would be called the Battle of the Old Heads. Yeah, why not? Bernard beats Roy if they fight a third time. I think so. But maybe I'm wrong. Who knows? But I think Roy is talking something about beating up an old man or some shit like that. He looked like he backed out of the fight or something. Roy Ramirez 17 says, and maybe they can have their fourth fight in 2050. Oh man. When they're long dead and gone. Oh man. Look, man, all I'm saying is it's nice to see the older heads fighting too, because it shows that they're healthy and they're strong enough to do this shit. You know, because it does help your health and shit. You know, you are taking some punishment, but it's just nice to see them going at it. And I see Oscar even training and shit. I don't think he's gonna, but he talking about rematch and shit. You know, and that sounds good. I mean, I like to see that. Remember these guys? That's all they did all their lives. They live for this. This gets them excited a little. The training doesn't, but the training don't get them excited. But everything else gets them excited. And Pacquiao has been an inspiration to all these guys. Floyd feel he can come back into boxing because of Pacquiao. Pacquiao just beat a young Keith Thurman. And Pacquiao found out the way how to train and to balance your training with work regime. People are going to say he used PEDs. I don't know. I'm not going to say. Well, actually, I just don't want to comment on that. My point anyway is he's staying busy. He's taking the proper rest away from boxing. So when he goes into boxing, he's rested. You understand what I'm saying? So, you know, based on that, I guess Floyd thinks he's got this good rest from boxing, except he was not boxing. Yeah, he was doing a little something, but he wasn't really boxing. And his body took a lot of wear and tear. So it's up to him, really. Yeah, he knows his body better and so on. But in my personal opinion, I thought coming back is just dumb. It's like the guy that cried wolf all the time. We don't even believe you retired no more. You've been doing this thing so many times. I retired from boxing, and then you come back in boxing. Man, dude, why would we take you seriously? Then somebody gonna whoop your ass. Eventually, somebody's gonna whoop your ass. It might be Magomed, whatever the guy's Abdullah, or whatever the fuck his name is. He might whoop your ass. Why? Because you keep on trying to come back, recapture something that is not there anymore. Why are you doing that? You know, I just don't understand. I guess he just wants to get his ass beat, which is what it is. Raul Ramirez says, all jokes aside, they are legendary fighters. I agree, man. I agree. They're legendary, for no doubt about that. But my point anyway is, you got to know when it's time to close it up. And Andre Ward did the wise thing, and Timothy Bradley did the wise thing. Mayweather, he don't look like he gonna do the wise thing in the end. In the end, it looks like he gonna get his ass beat. He will have to get beat out of boxing. You know, here's what it is. That's what it looked like to me. Because I personally don't think he's going to be competitive like that against this younger, fresher generation right now, and even against Manny Pacquiao. I think a lot of guys are going to beat him now. And it has nothing to do with how good he is as a fighter or how smart he is as a fighter. Is that you getting older. Father Time is going to always win. Always win. Always win. You can't beat Father Time. It's going to be a Terry Norris versus Ray Leonard all over again. Yeah, I think so. Ray Leonard had to get his ass beat out of the ring. It wasn't even Terry Norris that stopped him. It was Camacho. That motherfucker got his ass beat by Terry Norris and still went back in the ring to face Camacho. Right? Roy Jones Jr. got knocked the fuck out a number of times. He just didn't get the memo. Right? Oscar De La Hoya had to get his ass whooped by Pacquiao before he left boxing. Soundly by Pacquiao. Okay? How many times we got to see this? Bernard Hopkins get knocked out the fucking ring. And these are supposedly smart fighters. And they just couldn't give up the sport until somebody beat their ass out the sport and said, get the fuck out of the sport. You don't belong in here anymore. Too old. Why? Why does that have to happen? And you would think that Bernard Hopkins would have learned his lesson after Sergey Kovalev knocked his ass down. You would think, oh man, I think I'm a little too old for this sport. Nope. He was like, man, we were throwing bombs in the final round. I'm like, dude, you're delusional. He is beating you up like a punching bag. So, Joe Smith Jr. had to knock his ass out the ring before motherfucker said, okay, I'm definitely putting out there. I'm definitely taking over. And even now, he's still trying to pick a fight with Jones Jr. These motherfuckers just don't get it. You need to stop. Let's not talk about Roy Jones Jr. Sad. Mayweather's brittle hands may fall off as well. For real, Ninja. For real. How many more bones in his hand he got intact? Everything's probably powder by now. They said he was back stronger. Not him. He like Mr. Glass. I mean, what are you gonna be hitting with, stumps? I'm gonna punch you with my stump. And will he leave boxing then? I mean, come on, man. Damn. These guys, man, these dudes, they don't know how to give it up. They're addicted to the sport. You know? he'd be retired till somebody beat his ass. Then he's like, I'm done for real now. Anyway, yeah, so Leo Santa Cruz, was thinking about facing Javante Davis or Gary Russell Jr. I think that those are good good choices. That's the last thing I had to talk about in this video. His went another record 2 hours and 5 minutes. But you guys have been good. I've been responding to you guys. That's why. But yeah, this is what we're looking at in boxing, and all I'm saying is that when it comes to you know what, Raul Ramirez, I think Floyd took a page out of Amir Khan's book. Amir Khan only faces cherry pick guys right now, right? If you look at it, Floyd faced Andre Berto, then he faced Conor McGregor, right? These are guys he cherry picked, right? And then it looked like he gonna face Khabib, right? He gonna face Khabib. These are fights he knows he can win, right? He knows he can win these guys. It's not like they're not really competition for him. And I'm just thinking, Amir Khan's the same thing. He ducking everybody. I mean, Floyd, you could say, okay, he's an old guy, whatever. But he ducking everybody. And he's facing guys that they can beat. Like, look, we criticize Floyd for facing tension, right? He basically faced his son, right? Little boy. Knocked his ass out. But if you look at it, Amir Khan, he faced a featherweight. Now, that was a professional boxer. But he faced a featherweight. And knocked his ass out. I'm just saying. So, I mean, maybe Floyd's taking a page out of Amir Khan's book. Amir Khan, Papa Dom Chip. Amorad says Prince Andrew is a nunce. I don't know what that means. Right, so, anyways, that's all I got to say about those two. I heard that Amir Khan, if I'm not mistaken, he's going to be facing some dude. I think it's Amir Khan. Was it Eddie Hearn or Michael Buffer said? Something about Amir Khan facing some guy from India. No, it was Mauricio Suleiman. He was talking about how Amir Khan is going to be facing a guy from India in their boxing for peace, fight for peace. So that's what's up with that. Anyway, peoples, that's what I got for now. You can smash that like button if you haven't. Then it means you just don't like this video and you don't like this discussion, which is also good. You see, you guys clowning Khan and I'm laughing at it, which is silly, but you're right, though. You can just flick your finger and probably end up knocking Khan out. You know why? Because he doesn't use his defense properly. His defense be open, especially when he's coming in. That's how he gets knocked out. Look at the two times when he got dropped. He got dropped because he was coming in, throwing a lot of punches, not moving his fucking head, and he got caught with an overhand right and then with a left hook. Right? That was against Terrence Crawford. Then again, against Canelo, he's boxing on the outside. He throws a jab, right? And what does he do? He throws his jab, but he doesn't protect himself. So he gets caught with a overhand right? Gets knocked the fuck out, right? He's facing Samuel Vargas. Again, he throws a jab. He gets countered over the jab. Gets knocked the fuck down. Khan's defense is the thing. It's not so much his chin. Anybody get hit in the chin right and they can go down, right? Khan's thing is his defense. He had flawed defense. And he keep on getting hit on the chin all the time, too. Because of that. How much broken jaws Khan have? Yeah, broken nose. He got his nose broke from Collazo. He got his nose broke from Maidana. Alright? His defense is not always on point. Anyway, peoples, man, I'm out of here. Peace to all of you guys. For those of you who are going to be watching this video or are watching this video, the guys who you share the video with, don't forget you can subscribe, share, donate. You can donate via Western Union or MoneyGram if you want to support this channel. I thank those people who have donated to my channel to keep it running. That's very good. Try and keep you guys with content in boxing. You guys know that I try to tell y'all truthfully from as honestly as possible about boxing, because it's really about learning about the sport and what you can learn from the sport as well. I'm gonna catch you guys later. Peace to all you guys. Shout out to each and every one of you guys out there. Have a good evening. Deuces. Peace. I'm out.